Alright, howdy folks, welcome back to Top Comics Pressing. This is one I'm going to do just for fun. So I saw this one on My Comic Shop's auction. They had it rated a 4.5 with that MJ there, which means it's the Mark Jeweler variant. And I figured if I was going to have a Mark Jeweler copy of a comic book, so there we go, there's our all-important Mark Jeweler insert. You'll notice right here that this does have the glue on the insert, and so I do have a video on how to press with that. So if you search Mark Jeweler on the channel, you'll be able to get a little bit more info on how I set up that press. But I figured if I was going to add this one to the PC, I might as well get a MJ copy. Typical as MJ copies are, we're distributed at or around military bases, and so this one being Captain America with the anniversary cover and the flag background, that seemed awfully patriotic. So my comic shop had this one graded a 4.5, and I would say in its current condition, that's probably not a bad guesstimate, because it does have some light staining, some light foxing, some light discoloration, and most importantly, it is filthy. So if you look in here, you can just see how this entire thing is completely disgusting. This, by the way, if you're worried about it, would be a printing defect. You can see it's misaligned, and so that is a miswrap where they printed the border and then they cut it a little bit too far off, because you'll notice that the bottom has a little bit too tight on the barcode. So we're not going to worry about that at all, but we do need to give this thing one heck of a dry clean, and so we're going to have to work on getting Captain America up to his sparkly best. But what you'll notice is there are no major creasing. There's a lot of light rippling up here. There's certainly a lot of dirt all the way across here that's going to need some touch-up. There's some light corner wear and some light edge wear maybe along there. But if you flip it on over, no major creases. Again, some light tanning, some very light staining. But mostly it's just filthy, and it has kind of a nasty stacking curl. Okay, so I'm going to take the challenge accepted here, and this thing is coming in at a 4.5. I'm going to try to get this thing up to a CGC 9.2. We'll see how close I can come, but that's the goal here before I even start. Now, real quick off the bat here, we're going to use our Mr. Clean dryer sheets. Let me find the box here. So I'm using the thin eraser sheets from Mr. Clean. I've got a cotton round if I need one. This is my Swiffer sheet for getting up all of our eraser goobies. We've got a Pentel click eraser and a micro eraser. And so we're just going to go to town. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is start with the Mr. Clean sheet. And I know a lot of pressers hate these. And I will say that they hate them because they're probably using too much force. So I actually love these things for a particularly dirty comic book like this one. And you'll notice I'm going directly over absolutely all the color on this thing, and I'm not sparing any inches of it. But what I'm doing is using what I would call my Ouija board method, and you can see how much dirt I'm picking up there. And I'm not really putting any pressure down. I'm just simply gliding it over the comic book and letting the little hints of friction do all of the work. If you push with these, or if you apply any serious force, it will go through gloss and ink alike and cause permanent damage to the comic book. And so I call this the Ouija method here, where I'm just gently letting the gravity of my fingertips and a little bit of friction do all the work. And that's going to help me pull off some of that dirt from the colored areas, and you can see just how much we're getting off there from that pad. And this is going to help some of those colors pop, because we're not going to be able to dry clean exhaustively over the color, but the color definitely has dirt on it as well. And so we're just going to do what we can here. And that's probably about all we're going to want to do there. One more cycle here. Yeah, again, plenty of dirt. But you'll notice there's no reds, there's no pinks, there's no oranges. And so life's good. With that done here, we'll go to our big eraser, and we're just going to power into this. This is going to probably be a 2 or 3 part dry clean video here, because this is going to take some time. But I hope this ends up being a lesson in trying to spot the diamond in the rough. There's plenty of rough out there. There's plenty of books that are accurately graded as they are, but have some potential for some bumpskis. And so being able to identify those fixable defects and the ones that have minimal grade sealing defects. You know, if this thing had a 4-inch crease across it, we would not be able to get anywhere near as high of a grade bump out of it as I want. But you can see here, if I wipe that off and we look how this looks, you know, we're still not there, but a lot better compared to how these look. So that's quite the shocking difference for only, you know, a minute or two's worth of work. And we're gonna have to get out our little micro eraser as we go through all these bits, because we don't want to go over that black more than we have to. You can hit it a little bit, but this is going to take some finesse, particularly with how many micro pockets of white there are on this thing. You know, clean it off. These micro erasers tend to warp and foul because they don't have the thickness of a normal one. I'm just going to hit the yellow here a little bit. That star. Thankfully, the gray is supposed to have kind of a speckled background, so we're not going to have to worry about that more than a little. Again, with dry cleaning, we're going to hope to go like 95 to 98%. You do not want to push it to 100. You will end up causing damage somewhere. This one might be a PC book. We'll see. I definitely bought it for the challenge, and we will see how far it goes, but don't think I have one of these on the PC. Had one, I guess slabbed it in maybe when the Falcon Winter Soldier was coming out to be a thing, and I may have sold it then. I have to keep cleaning these off and getting a... Sometimes I have to use the scissors to cut these into a little bit of a point to really get the fine details in there. So many little pockets, all these little glare pieces on his nose. I have to go back over that again. His eye. Little micro erasers also foul super easily. Keep cleaning them up. So much. Well, there are some slight spine ticks, so we're probably not in 9/8 land. You can see the miswrap a little bit too, because this 1986 should be fully on the front cover, and it's definitely not. It's totally on the side. So that's another indication that you've got the light spine roll, or sorry, not spine roll, miswrap, often confused with the spine roll. Spine rolls were put there by readers. Miswraps were put there when they were manufactured. So very different. And books of this era very commonly have manufacturing miswraps. I have a couple of videos describing that, so those are worth watching if you're a new person. I regularly see new pressers overzealous to fix miswraps that are as spine rolls when they were really part of the manufacturing process, and they're super common. So I always tell people coming over from trading cards or sport cards that these are not cards. Cards are very nicely one sheet of cardboard, generally produced with the intent of being high precision. Comic books, particularly back in the day, produced at the speed of sound as cheaply as possible, keep the business in line. And you know, you're dealing with multiple sheets of paper. So on the inside of this is probably a standard 32-page issue, which means it's got you know, 8 sheets of paper folded in half to make 16 wraps, and then stapled to the cover. And the cover material is different than the interior, and getting all that to line up takes a little bit of precision. Precision we can do, but it costs money. And comics were printed cheap. So binary tears, common, overlooked in grading. Light miswraps, also very, very common, and also overlooked in grading. So what do you think? Before you get to the end, you should drop a comment down in the comments section letting me know what you think this thing's going to peg out at. It is filthy. Let's see how long this can take. It's definitely not a fast process. But we gotta get Cap's pearly whites in the best case. It's got that Avenger smile. Oh, we're getting there. You gotta get it in the little micro Thor helmet. Yikes. Clean off the old micro eraser. So many white crevices. Gotta get his dimple. Again, you can kind of go over the colored areas. You just don't want to use a lot of force and you don't want to dally there. Eventually you'll rub through the gloss and the ink. But on these 80s books, they're usually pretty forgiving to a light brush over. Early Silver Age, early Silver Age, you know, 1961, 1962 Marvel were a little bit more delicate. Getting there. Getting there. All right, we are, however, going to take a 5-minute timeout. All right, we're back. Just needed a quick water break. Let's keep this train going. I hate when that happens. I always lose the eraser a bit. Oh my gosh. Even little mini Captain America's shield looks disgusting. Now looking forward to the UPC code. Storm's hair. Iceman. Angel's wings. I'm just going to get my little cardstock here to support the cover, just to make sure I don't put a micro crease in the corner. That'd be super sad. Angel's gauntlet there. Actually, Angel's wing has a little bit of gray on it to help disguise some of the schmutz. Given everything, that's just, I've already gone over a second pass here. Got that little bit. UPC box time. Ideally, keep hitting the edge of there. Some of them I might just have to leave. I don't want to leave white spots in the UPC. Be pretty obvious. So I'm gonna have to maybe leave a little bit more there than I'd like. So just down here, I think we can still just do a little bit better on. Maybe some true scuffs down there. See if I have my cotton around, if I can kind of polish it out a little bit. Okay, still not happy with this part up here. Sometimes on the Mr. Clean eraser sheet, you can fold it into a very, very tight point and use that. Looks better. Do some more micro here in the code box and the price tag box. So many pesky Captain America shields on this thing. So pokey, so much dirt. Let's go back to the Captain America here. All right, we're gonna give a broad once over here, a big eraser. See how much we can get off with that. should be white visible between that gray and where the printing defects start. So we're going to try to clean that up to make it more obvious that it's not just some weird toner thing. You see the gray even looks less speckled. It'll clean some of the dirt off of it. Really careful on these yellow stars. Trying to see if there's anywhere else on the gray that could use a touch up. Oh, missed the things belt. Back to the America. Micro eraser. This is also why I upcharge people for heavily soiled covers. You'll see it is an epic amount of work sometimes. That's a good first pass. Now these micro erasers can leave some lines of eraser residue, and so I always try to go over them with the big eraser here. And mostly I'm looking in the glare and just super light going over it. So I don't have to clean up dirt at this stage. I'm trying to just get the eraser residue off of it. And there's some there in the A, some in the T too. Just looks like a little bit of a dull patch in the glare. That's not because we rubbed through the gloss, it's because there's a little bit of eraser rubber sitting on top of the gloss. Okay. My hand's getting worn out. My thumb's gonna protest. One more quick pass over here. Okay, a little bit more on, hit the dirt over the gray here. There's a little bit of a patch in here. There's still a little bit of crud here on the bottom of the A. All right, let's head over to the back. Thankfully, I don't think the back is anywhere near as disgusting. I love Skittles. They're the best. Looking at this just makes me want some Skittles. There's a bunch of crud over here. Came off nice. Stupid erasers. Hate it when they do that. Okay. A bunch of crud up here on the top corner. Getting there though. Back was so much less filthy. So much faster in the front. Just clean up some of the fuzz here before I do a final once over. A little bit of a scratch up there. I couldn't see it through all the dirt. It's unfortunate. Hopefully it'll press out a little bit. It's not a very big one. How about here? In the corners, I really like the Mr. Clean sheets. Okay, let's take a peek. A little bit more of a dry clean to polish that off, but I mean, holy smokes, that looks, it's like I get wiped down, but I mean, it's totally transformed from where we started. So I mean, that's a completely different comic book. And you can see the gloss is really nice and sharp and shiny throughout all of it. So that's kind of what we want to maintain. Yeah, so this thing's gonna go get a double bled treatment on the front cover, probably exterior only. We're gonna do a double bled treatment on the back cover, exterior only again. And then we're going to give it our normal press per the MJ. So you can see right in here, there's a little bit of that, what I was talking about, a little bit of surface rub. I don't think that's anything we did dry cleaning it. It's just a little bit right there. So it's not much. If you look right at it, you can kind of see it. Hit this bottom back corner here on my Mr. Clean sheet. All right, it's bled time. All right, here we are with this copy of Captain America 323 with the Mark Jeweler insert. So there's our Mark Jeweler in there. And you know, you can see that this thing looks a whole heck of a lot better. We've still got maybe a little bit of light surface dirt, but this thing compared to what it started with, you know, just looks incredibly clean and bright and vibrant. And it's gonna get ready for its final press. Now with a Mark Jeweler insert, you do have the risk that that glue strip will seal onto the comic book, and that makes it not gradable by CGC. So they won't encapsulate it if you get water or humidity on the strip and glue it to the other side there with that little bit of glue there you can see in the mat. And so to deal with that, what you need to be able to do is put extra SRP paper in there. And I have a video on that. So if you search Mark Jeweler insert on the channel, that one should pop on up so you can see how that stacking goes. That exact thing is what we're going to do here with this Captain America. Then we'll let it go for 15 minutes at 155 degrees with 12-hour cool down, and we'll be back when that is done. All right, here we are with our copy of Captain America number 323. This is the Mark Jewelers copy. You know, even without looking at the Mark Jewelers on the inside, this pretty diagnostic miswrap there I think is going to make this thing noticeable from arm's length at any question. This thing looks a whole heck of a lot better there. So you can see Captain America's pearly whites are now sparkling right back at us on this beautiful anniversary cover. You know, it's coming to us, you know, 4.0 copy, so that's pretty low grade. And I bet you this thing, I'm going to stick to it. I think we're going to hit a 9.2 on this one. So fingers crossed. We'll hope CGC agrees. At the very least, there's no way this thing is coming in below like an 8 or an 8.5, even on a bad day. So fingers crossed on that one. We'll have to put together some moderns to send it along with. All right, folks, the jury is back from CGC. Now, this one's going to get lumped in with a couple of other books for an unboxing, and so I decided to splice the video this way. Just as a quick reminder here, this was graded a 4.5 copy from my comic shop with the Mark Jewelers insert. It was full of finger bends, wrinkles, and it was soiled, you know, it's from here to Kingdom Come, and probably one of the most expensive extensive dry cleans I've ever done. But of course, it did have that key mark jeweler's insert, and you can see CGC has that noted here. Additionally, this book had a very unique miswrap, and so you can see that that matches here, that kind of angle across there. And so now we have a nice reveal. And so with the jury back from CGC, they have now rendered this book a near mint 9.4 white pages with the Mark Jeweler insert. And so I could not be more thrilled with that ridiculous bumpski from something that is completely trashed and gross all the way up to a pretty prized, truly near mint book. And of course we did one heck of a polish there on Cap's pearly whites. So nothing says, you know, well, I don't know. What does Captain America say? Avengers assemble, I suppose. We'll go with that for now. All right, anyway, hopefully you've appreciated looking what a solid, very solid clean and press can do with the comic book here, taking it from a mid to low grade book all the way up to something that's objectively high grade. And so, from my perspective, that is how you dry clean and press a comic book. And hopefully you've enjoyed watching that process. If so, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up on the video. Click that subscribe button down below. I took plenty of pictures of this thing that I'll be able to post on Facebook or Instagram when this one posts. So be sure to check that out as well. Follow me on other social media. And most importantly, keep on collecting what you enjoy.